somebody has told you that you cannot do this, your marriage cannot be successful, you cannot be successful in your career, you cannot win this competition, you cannot get to this height. When people say this, proving them wrong is so sad. Welcome to another strategic episode of Timotheum. My name is Atta Tim Okuta. Today we'll be talking about a topic I've titled LeBron James, Stephen A, Sport Commentary and You. In the last few weeks, there has been a back and forth. There has been something like you would term a quarrel between the basketball great, LeBron James, and one of the most influential sport commentators in the United States. His name is Stephen A. Smith. Over the years, Stephen A. Smith have been somewhat critical about LeBron James and his conduct and his game and all that. But recently, after a basketball game, LeBron James walked up to this sport commentator who attended that game and told him he should stop talking about his son, because this sport commentator was also very critical about LeBron James' son Bronny. And so LeBron James got very annoyed and walked up to him and told him to stop it. Now, if you analyze what sport commentators and other commentators are doing all over the world, you will see a trend whereby some sport commentator focuses on a particular sport personality and they can be very negative. During the debate between Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo about who is the greatest, there were some sport commentators who were very, very biased and critical about Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, presently, in a sporting show that called ESPN FC in the UK, you will see something similar going on. There is, in particular, a sport commentator called Craig Bowley, who, whenever he talks about Kylian Mbappe, the Real Madrid forward, you can be rest assured that 90% or even more of the time he talks about this guy is negative. Now, if you also go back to the US, you find that when a lot of sport commentators talk about another sport personality like Angel Reese, there is also this negativity. So, but all of us have a similar thing happening to us. So you might not be a superstar and people are talking about you in the media, but this criticism or negative comment can come from a spouse, it can come from a friend, it can come from a parent, it can come from a colleague, a classmate, or it can come from people you don't even know on social media. So there is the need for all of us to have a strategy for criticism. Because there are people out there who don't just like your face. They don't just like your race. They don't just like your approach to life. They might deem you as proud and they want to bring you down. So you must have a strategy for criticism. So myself, I have 3 strategies and I want to share them. The first one is that I don't ignore completely criticism. Even Jesus Christ, the only man in recorded history to have done no wrong, to be sinless, had to inquire from his disciples that, whom do men say I am? Because at that time, some people were calling him demon-possessed, that he was using the powers of demon. Others were saying he was Elijah and also some other names. So he asked. So One of my strategies is that I don't completely ignore criticism. That is the first one. The second one is that once I am aware of a critical statement, once I see a criticism, once somebody talks about me in a negative or positive way, I sit down and analyze it. Because there are two types of criticism. There is the constructive and the destructive. The attribute of a destructive criticism is the fact that it is malicious. It is full of malice. It is meant to pull you down. It is full of negativity. It is meant to make you small. It is meant to stop you. It is meant to make you feel small and unable to do what you have set out to do. These are the attributes of destructive criticism. On the other part is constructive criticism. Even when you feel it is negative, it also comes with suggestion that tells you what you can do to overcome what the person is talking about. It is not filled with malice and unreasonable issues. It is often objective, and you should seek out this type of criticism. And often it is coming from those who are reasonable, who are good. My third strategy for criticism is that I use it as a tool. One of the most satisfying attributes, one of the most satisfying things about life is that proving naysayers wrong. Yeah. When somebody has told you that you cannot do this, your marriage cannot be successful, you cannot be successful in your career, you cannot win this competition, you cannot get to this height. When people say this, proving them wrong is so satisfying. And so, all of us, I believe without an exception, somebody might have told you something, and it might be a teacher. Again, it might be a sibling. It might be a friend. It might be a newspaper columnist. Proving them wrong is so satisfying. So use destructive or bad criticism, or criticism generally, as a tool. Use it to prove people wrong. In summary, you cannot ignore completely criticism. It is part of life. It is only the dead that criticism doesn't matter to. So if you are alive and you are doing something somewhere, you'll be criticized. And so my strategy is: 1, don't ignore criticism. 2, analyze them and know the one that is destructive and totally discard them, and the one that is positive or constructive, use it to better yourself. And thirdly, use criticism generally as a tool to become the best version of yourself. Use it as a motivation to prove naysayers wrong. The feeling is amazing. Thanks for listening to me. If this has been helpful, kindly share. If you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe. If you want to have a conversation with me, come into the comment section and let's talk. Till I see you, remain strategic.